Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our vlog. Today, we're going to talk about core engagement. Then comes our intro. Nane, what was our music? Now, what is core engagement? A lot of people come and ask me, how do I engage my core, or how do you keep your core engaged when you are performing certain exercises, or a lot of people are not aware about. I fumble a lot, so please bear with me. So a lot of people are not aware of how to do it, like what is core and how do we keep it engaged in different exercises, or am I repeating the same questions? I think I am. Let's just go back to where what is core. So basically, not a lot of people know what core is. Is it just the abs? Is it just the back muscles? Or is it just this area? People don't know what core exactly is. So let's just start from there. Okay, let's get into what muscles are involved in your core. Basically, core involves this. Now, this could be a little adult content if you see, but let's just get into it. Okay, so the first muscle that is involved is your gluteus maximus. This is what I was calling your gluteus maximus. Okay, then comes your adductors in here, also adult content. Okay, then comes your base of your rectus abdominis. Okay, then comes your rectus abdominis and all the ab muscles that we have and the obliques. These are all involved. Also, it's your diaphragm, the one that you breathe in and out with. That's a muscle, right? That muscle also is involved in your core. When we talk about core engagement, all these muscles, and also your erector spinae muscles. Erector spinae muscles are the ones that keep your lower back in place, or when you're strengthening your lower back, those are the muscles that you're working on. Okay, so all these muscles are involved when you talk about core engagement. So in a way, when you contract or when you work on all these muscles together collectively, that's when you actually engage your core properly. That's how you know that, okay, fine, now your core is engaged properly, and now you can go ahead and perform whatever exercises or repetitions that you want to perform. And all these muscles have to be active, have to be alert when you are actually going into any exercise. Let it be heavy, let it be body weight exercises, but that's when all these muscles are going to work together. That's when you will see the most uh, appropriate work getting done by all these muscles. All these muscles are going to only make sure that uh, your posture stays in place, that your lower back or your spine are not hurt, or the things that a lot of people get injury because of not engaging your core. This is what actually happens. They're not aware of what muscles they're supposed to use, and they're not aware of what the proper position or the proper posture should be for that particular exercise, and hence they increase their risk of injury. So let's just get back to how to do it. Now that we know that which all muscles are now that we know that which all muscles are involved, now we'll get back to what all postures or what all exercises we're supposed to engage our core. Let's go to some bar exercises that we do that we need our core engagement to be tight. Generally, what happens is there is a lot of risk of injury when you go heavier. So generally, people go heavier maybe on their squats, maybe on their deadlifts, maybe on their bent over rows. The stuff that you do with a heavy barbell, even during your overhead presses, if you're doing it seated or standing, all these things are very important to understand. It is very important to understand that when you're doing all these exercises, if your core is not in place or engaged, or you don't have a proper posture, it becomes a very high risk of injury. So we don't want that. So in order to avoid risk of injury, this is why I'm trying to do this video, to make sure that you know how to do the core engagement, when to do the core engagement, and how much. So if it's too engaged, then you will not be able to concentrate on the actual exercise, right? You'll just be concentrating on the core, so which is not let's just think that this is a rod. This is not actually a rod, not a pipe, but still, let's just consider that this is our rod. Okay, so let's just say we are doing an overhead press. In order to know how to engage your core, you have to understand your pelvic tilts properly. So your pelvic generally tilts. If you've seen belly dancers, they go this sideways. Okay, so isolating your pelvic and moving your pelvic accordingly is going to make a huge difference. So this is how. So first, if you don't know how to move your pelvic, I'll just show you one. Making sure that your knees are bent. Okay. Now standing straight, back straight, chest out, everything focused. Now I want you to squeeze your glutes and push your pelvic in front. Nor knees move, nor your shoulders move, and then come back. Again, squeeze your bum, push your pelvic in front, and release your bum and push your pelvic behind as much as possible. Go in front and back, and front and back. Make sure your knees are not moving, make sure your shoulders are not moving. Only your pelvic moves. Squeeze your bum when it goes in front, release your bum when it goes behind. Squeeze and back, and squeeze and back. That is one of the exercises that you can do to make sure that you understand your pelvic tilts. Most of the exercises, not all the exercises, most of the exercises you're using posterior pelvic tilt to keep your core engaged. So for example, I'll tell you, when do you think that your bicep contracts completely? This position, this position, this position, this position. This is the one where it contracts completely. It's the same with your core. This position, your core is going to be contracted completely. Okay? Now you have to understand that point where you are squeezing your core, engaging your core, and at the same time not compromising your posture. For example, here in this position, this is the most difficult position. The hinge is the most difficult position. I'll come back to hinge in my another video where I'll explain you how to hinge properly. But then in this particular video, we'll just talk about the core engagement during the hinge. Okay. So in this position, it's very difficult to engage your core. So I just want you to make sure that this part is not being exposed. So I don't want you to do your anterior pelvic tilt here. No. You're also in the same position. You can definitely do your posterior pelvic tilt, but to a certain extent where your back is straight. Okay. I don't want you to curl your back. Curling your back is going to make things worse. Okay. So keeping it straight. Can you see the straight line? Yes. Great. So this is the right position to do a hinge, even if you're doing your bench over rows, even if you're doing your deadlifts. Okay, are you understanding? These are the points. These are the tricks to make sure that you're not overusing your lower back, that you're not that you're engaging your core properly. You have to make sure that you have all these things in your head when you're doing all these lifts, when you're doing all these exercises. It's extremely important for you to understand that as long as you are risk-free and injury-free, you will be able to continue all your workouts, you will be able to achieve all your goals. You will be able to live a good, happy, healthy life injury-free. Your core plays a huge part in keeping your spine in place. Guys, understand, there are a lot of injuries that happen because of huge amount of weights. Okay, And most of these weights, most of the people who are, I'm not against heavy weights at all. It's a great way to push your limits. It's a great way to test your strength. It's a great way to motivate yourself. Everything agreed. But if you are not doing it with the right awareness of your body, what's happening in your body, what is supposed to be done at that particular time, or what is supposed to be done at that particular moment, if you're not understanding that, it becomes a lot riskier than you think. Having said that, I think that most of the injuries that happen in the gym are because of wrong postures, wrong core engagement, less or not adequate knowledge about the particular lift, and most of it is ego lifting, which I hate. Also, when you're engaging your core, you're already working on your abs, so you can just engage your core and keep it work. And I think personally, there's not too much use, or there's not too much importance to all these crunches and leg raises that we do to engage our core and work it out. If you're engaging your core in your heavy lifts, something like a deadlift, something like a squat, if you're using your core appropriately, and if you're using your core enough, you will understand, you will notice that your core will also be sore the next day. Like if you're doing your hamstrings, or if you're doing your quads properly engaged with your core, you will understand that even your abs are sore. Sometimes that happens. So you have to understand all these things. I'm not against doing any crunches, n number of crunches or n number of leg raises. They are a great way to engage your core and keep them exercised and keep them strengthened. But you have to understand that you have to use the core the right way, and by using the core the right way, by using your core the right way, you are working on it even without knowing. So this is like an added advantage for you guys. What happens basically is there are a lot of people who stress more on using their peripheral muscular system than their axial, whereas it is more important to concentrate on your axial peripheral muscular system than your
You have like 23 minutes of footage. I have to go through 23 minutes of footage.
Is this even recording? I don't even know. I can't see her. Your battery is running low. So this is a great way to engage your core and work on those axial muscles, so that you get the most out of all the exercises that you're doing. This is all about core today, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, cool. Thank you. Shit, I've been talking shit for a long time.